Hi, my name is Matt and welcome. This is the next part of the series. Today there's lots to do, so let's go ahead and start. Actually, I don't know what happened, but today when I loaded the project, it looks like I've lost the background and the items that we had. So I don't know really what was that, but we'll quickly repair that. I will just add a plane and scale it a little bit, and I will drop an item, or maybe a couple of them. Let's grab one, grab second. Those are different actually, and actually I will make the rotation 0, 0, 0. Is it? Okay, and let's open the game. Now it looks like one has fallen, second one is still standing, and yes, we've got some problems with it because it was falling through the ground, and I do not really know why is this happening. Let's start once again. Okay, so now it looks like it lays on the ground. I have my game manager. I should be able to pick up those items. Yes, I am. I haven't set up anything here, but I can do it. But it doesn't matter for now. What I suggest to do at the beginning is add some more variables to those to make them much more interesting. And I actually decided to cut the video because it was boring. I've created a new class which is an armor, which inherits from item, and it contains basically two different variables: melee defense and range defense. And I've created a basic constructor, nothing new, and I also created an wave parameter to item, so I will probably need to add them to all the constructors. Okay, that should work. Although now we have, let's fill them somehow. It doesn't matter actually for now. As I said in the last episode, we did not touch this because it is something different, and now we can take those. It's actually very hard to pick up those items. Maybe we'll get to it later. And now I can press F5, get those items back on a reload, and that's okay. But what happened? Why it's 23? Let's make it 0 actually, and let's see it loads properly. And now what I want to do is to add more flexibility, because for now they were just a representation of the item class and we couldn't make them weapons or potions, or in this case armors, which I've just created for this reason. So how do we do that? Well, I haven't found the way to do it completely in a generic way. So it involves some scripting, editor scripting, but I think the way that I've suggest is pretty cool, but we need to set every properties manually. So as I said, we need to go into editor scripting, so I will just create a folder called editor, and basically everything which is in this folder will not be compiled into the final version of our game, so those scripts will work only in editor, and I will just call it custom inspector. And now the name of the class item info, and I will open it up. So now we do not need system collections, but we need Unity editor namespace, and basically what we start with is we inherit from editor, and we also need to type that this is a custom inspector. So we need custom editor, we need to type custom editor, type of item info. So what this means, we are telling that this is a custom inspector script for item infos, and actually I'm not sure if it's necessary, but I usually type it. I just type edit multiple objects, because we may get into some troubles when we click multiple objects having this script, but I'm not sure. You can check if it can work without this. So now let's say, how do we do that? So first of all, you may notice that nothing has happened, because we didn't overwrite our GUI. So you can type public overwrite void on inspector GUI, which basically by default has called the base on inspector GUI. When I comment it, we will lose everything we have here. You see? Sorry, because this the override keyword says whatever we had for now here, it's not important, because here is the method that should be called, and because we have nothing in it, nothing is drawn. Okay, so what we want is, we need to, for example, we need some kind of box like here to check the item type, and when we choose an item type, it's either weapon, armor, potion, or other. We need to have here properties listed for this item. Okay, so how do we do it? It's pretty easy actually, if you know how to use those scripts. And first we need an enumeration, so I will type public enum, and the enum will call the item type, and it basically will have just weapon, armor, potion, and let's say other. And this is basically just to our use in inspector, and we will use it in a switch statement later. This is an enum, but we also need an instance of, it's actually not sure it's instance, anyway. And I think it should be public. So now in the item class we have a public enum called item type. So in our item script we have information which type is it actually. Okay, So now I will comment it. Oops. I will just write a comment called weapon attributes and we need public int damage. I made another cut because I think it isn't that cool just to see me typing. Anyway, we've got some weapons, armor and potion attributes. For now they are just public variables, but as you see we cannot even see them because we've overwritten the GUI. But let me uncomment just this line and we will see how it will look. So we have some item variables and we also have all those variables that we have set up. So we've got some weapons attributes, so melee range, so armor attributes and so potion attributes, and we have this enum. And it actually, we do not want to see everything. So for example, when it's weapon, we just want to see the damage attribute. When it's armor, we just want to see melee armor attributes, like melee, def and range def. And when it's potion, we want to see heal value. And when it's other, we do not want to see any of them because we just need base values. Okay, so we will use serialize property to get it. But first, we need to execute an enable function on enable, and this is basically done when we first see this. We need to actually come up and make some reference. So I will type item info, which is basically I just want to have reference to the instance of the script, and I will write item info equals target, and this is basically all, I think, or maybe not, because I've got an error. So let's try to typecast it. Oops. Now it works, I guess. If we do not get any errors, just line and mix. Okay, so this is how do we set up our reference. Now, serialize property. Actually, I will comment it out. So we can write our own inspector, and serialize property class is just, you can actually get all those variables using serialize property. So when we have serialized property, for example, I will show you that it should, let's say, item name. And now here in enable, you can say item name equals serialize object, that find property. And this string that it takes, it's not the name of the property, it's path to the property. So in our instance it will be item info, which is the item, dot name. So the path would be item info dot name. And basically this property now is connected to this variable. And we can make GUI not actually, editor GUI layout, that property field, and here we need to pass a property, in this case item name, item name, and we shouldn't get any errors. Let's see what happens. And we've just got a name, and DFD is probably the name I typed here. So we've got a name and we can edit it. It's like we normally have in our inspector, and actually we lost it, but what happened? I'm typing and I'm losing it. Okay, so looks like I'm missing something, because when we type we lose it, and that's probably because we need to type serialized object that update, which updates the changes. And also, I'm not sure if it's needed, but let's add it. It's serialized object that apply modify properties, and now it should work. And now we've changed the name of this item, so it's like normal inspector. The name is what the same that I've just typed. Okay, so let's add more properties. Item description, list state, DSCC for short. And it's also need to be right here. And as you may notice that it doesn't really matter if it's string, int or anything, it is represented as a serialized property object, so it's actually very nice. So let's type item and I think those are all 5 properties of an item. And actually there is also a model path, but we will leave it because model path is done over here. Okay, so we need just to add them here. Weight, value, and stackable. I believe that's what I call it. Okay. So we've got our properties, and we also want them to be here. So I will just copy this 5 times. Weight, value, and is stackable. Let's actually add it here. And now what we've got is, you see, now we've got the name, description, the information that it is stackable or if it isn't, and the weight and a value, and we can change it. So that's cool, but those are just basic properties of an item. So let's add more. First we need this combo box to define what item is it, and this is the property item type. So I will type serialized property called item type, and I will assign it equals serialized object that find property item type, because this is this. it does not belong to item info. It's just an public variable, which is actually enum, by the way, but it doesn't matter for now. And here I will type editor GUI layout, that property field, item type, and no matter that doesn't matter that it's enum, it finds the best way to show it. So now I can choose either it's a weapon, an armor, a potion, or whatever. And still it does not change the class itself of the item, it is just an enum that will decide what we will show here, and then we will make it so this will be an item. But for now it doesn't matter anything. I can turn it to armor and the class of this is just an item. Now it's time for the key part. So we can set the property, item type property here, and now we need to check it. So that's why we need a reference, you remember? Now I can check if item info without capital I, its reference. Remember, set here that item type, which is basically the enum, is equal to item info dot item type dot weapon. And here let's just type for now GUI label or GUI layout.label. This is a weapon, and I will explain what's happening in a minute. Now, when it's a weapon, we've got information that it is a weapon, and when it's not, we do not have. So what is it? So item info is reference to the script, item type is reference to this variable, which is an enum, and item info that item type is this is actually reference to the enum itself. And now we've had to type what this enum must be, and actually we can now add else if condition and do the same for armor, but we will make a switch statement. So what the syntax for switch statement? We type switch like here, now the parentheses, and now we type case that weapon, and then we type break. So this means, and we also need a default, and we do not need nothing by default, we just break it. Oops. So when it's like a lot of else if statements, we usually use switch, which takes this variable and checks and executes code if it's weapon, and now we can type case armor and also break it, and it executes the code to the break. I will copy, now it's potion, and I will leave it this like default form. Okay, so now I will type here GUI layout that property field, and actually I need to add it. So now I will type weapon damage to know that it comes from the weapon class, and I will assign it serialize object that find property. How did I call it? Just the damage. Oh, I will just name it damage. Why not? For the armor, I will type armor melee defense and armor range defense. As I said, lots of typing today. We are typing actually the same, but I hope you can handle it. Melee def. I just copy them because I do not want to make some misclicks. Lots of copy paste here. Now the last thing actually. Let's find the property. And it will be heal value. So this guy. And now let's jump into Unity and wait if it compiles scripts. We can switch to weapon and we've got the damage, and it's pretty funny because it isn't bold until I change the values here. I don't know actually. So when armor we've got melee and range defense. Actually it shouldn't be negative. And in potion we've got heal value. And when I set to other, we do not have any, which is actually, I think, very nice. So once again, we set then item type here in the enum. Then we changed what is it, and whatever what is it, we show the property over here. The negative of this way of handling this is that when we change something here, we need to change this here, but actually there's not a lot of properties actually here, so I hope you can handle it. As I said, I was wondering yesterday if it's possible to do it in a completely generic way, but I haven't found a solution. Okay, but there are still just numbers. We are assigning just those public variables, and when we actually pick up this item, we just add an item to our list, and neither of those is actually saved. So how do we change that? On a start function, we can actually make the item info, which is basically an item, but we, as I show you, we can assign a weapon or an armor or whatever, anything that inherits from item, and we can actually make this weapon, but by typing item info equals new weapon, for example, and a constructor here. So let's type a switch case instruction once again. So I will type switch item type and case item type, that's weapon, and I will type item info equals new weapon, which is item info that name. Has lots of typing here. That description item info that stackable item info.value, item info.weight, item info.model path, it doesn't matter because we'll override it here, and damage, which is basically the property that we just set, and then we need to type break. Actually, it wants me to type this like this. Okay, I usually type like that, but as he wants. Microsoft Visual Studio will also make it as it wants, so there's no way to fight with it. Now, in our more case, we will type that item info is equal to new armor, and the beginning is very same till this moment actually, and here will be melee def and range defense, and now we need to break. And the last case, I can type that potion, oops, so item info will equal new potion, and basically the same constructor, but here will be heal value. And now break. And by default we do not want to do nothing because we already have an item that will be assigned. Okay, and now what happened actually? So we use a weapon constructor. So we assign to the item actually a weapon which has the basic parameters of an item info that we've set up, but we also have like damage, which is a parameter for weapon, and the enum decides which constructor we use. So now when it's a weapon, actually, let's call it however, change those variables. So now when we start the game, this is when we pick up it. Here it should be an item, a weapon, but because this is a list of items we do not see it. But we can check if it is actually. So let me for now uncomment load inventory. And then in update, if inventory.count is equal to 1, so when we've got one item, I will just debug that log. Actually, if inventory of 0 is weapon, I will debug that log. Oops. The item is a weapon. So what happened? I've commented load, so now we will start with empty inventory, and when we pick up this guy, so when the number of items in inventory will be 1, the inventory of 0, which is the first item, if it's weapon, we will get the message that it is weapon. So let's go ahead, open up the game. Now the size is 0. When we pick up it here, Oh, come on. We've got an information that's weapon, and looks like we got it. Okay, I put it into update. So as you see, it works because let's say that now I change it to armor, and as you probably guessed, come on, where is it? I do not get any information. Okay, now I will get rid of this. So I just wanted to prove you that it's working. So looks like we've reached the end of the next episode. It still may be annoying for you because in our inventory list we just got the basic item properties, but you can write very similar code to add other variables. But basically it's just typing the same once again, and in the next episode we will go ahead and create in-game GUI. So I just wanted to add this very easy inspector GUI to give us very fast tool to create items. So I guess it's all. Thanks for watching, and till next time, bye.